Hello, everybody, and welcome into the TPR Informer Park discussion panel. My name is Disney Diamond 15, and I'm the owner and creator of TPR Informer, as well as the owner of Park Expo Collective. We hope you all are having a great time here at the PEC24 Expo. And to my left, we have Cedar, who is the event organizer here at PEC and the co-owner of TeamTBM in Movie World, and he's also one of our event organizers at TPR Informer. So we are so excited to have you guys here, and let's just jump right into it. So for this panel, I wanted it to be a little different than panels we've done before, announcing stuff. But before we get into all that, let's do a couple announcements, or just one announcement mainly. And that is that the This Month in TPR show, our most popular show, and I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to come back. Well, due to a lot of things in May, like, real life events, work, school, and of course, preparing for the PEC24 Expo, I was unable to get a This Month in TPR video out to you guys. But good news, I've already started planning for this month's episode. I have a script in the works currently, and I'm picking up some stories to discuss. So that will be returning in the last week of June, and I'm super excited to get that show to you guys. Moving into today's panel, I wanted this to be a park discussion. And what kind of park discussion? Well, I was thinking, a couple weeks ago, if I were to create a Roblox theme park, right, and I was going to take elements from my favorite parts of the entire community, what would be my ultimate Roblox park? And that sort of is what spawned the idea for this panel. And, well, how are we going to do this? Well, first up, I will be giving you my 5 rides. I'm basically going to, in total, we're going to have 10 rides in this metaphorical ultimate Roblox theme park. And I will be giving you my 5 rides, and then we will follow it up with Cedar giving you his 5 rides. And at the end, we're going to come together, see what lands we could put these rides in, and then what sort of, could be the basis for these lands. And then we'll leave it up to you guys to discuss and give your questions and comments for what would be in your ultimate Roblox theme park. But with all that said, we're going to jump into my top 5 rides. So this isn't necessarily my top 5 rides on Roblox. For the most part, it is. But this is sort of my top 5 rides plus some rides that I think the community would overall enjoy to be in, an ultimate Roblox park. And my first one, obviously, is Jurassic Kingdom River Adventure. This is really the ride that got my channel going. Obviously, Mummy was the one that sparked the idea for the channel, but the opening of River Adventure was what sparked this channel. And besides that fact, Jurassic Kingdom River Adventure is an awesome boat ride. I feel like you need at least one boat ride if you're going to do an ultimate Roblox park. And Jurassic Kingdom is just that. It has what we could basically say is an IP in Jurassic Park. And I love dinosaurs. And it has a lot of great jump scares. It has a lot of great animatronics and a lot of detail put into it. And that's why I chose that one. And then again, I would say this is sort of my wild card because a lot of people don't agree with me, but the Forbidden Journey at Universal Roblox has always been one of my favorite rides in the park and overall on the entire platform. And now it's coming out as the Forbidden Adventure. So even though we don't have that updated version yet, I still wanted to put it in here because, number one, the ride is great. The ride system in real life is very cool, and it's still very cool and innovative in Roblox. And I also think it coming in the Hogsmeade land, which, spoiler alert, I would have a Hogsmeade land in the park. That's why I wanted to include that one. So number 3 is Five Nights at Freddy's After Hours from CT Towers. This ride is no longer open in their park, but you can access it through a separate link and a separate game link. So if you just do a little searching on Google, you'd be able to find it. But this is an awesome shooter dark ride. One of a kind in Roblox, really. You're able to click with your mouse on these animatronics. You don't see your score really until the end. And I just think that's really, really cool. So yeah, it's a really awesome attraction if you haven't checked it out. Plus, you get the Five Nights at Freddy's IP with it as well. And moving on from that, we have the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World Roblox. So, Haunted Mansion obviously is a classic attraction. And what I think makes this attraction so great is that in Roblox and in real life, this attraction's like 15 minutes long. It's really a 15 to 20-minute experience in total with the stretching room and the queue line, and then finally getting on your Doom buggy. So I felt like this was definitely a must-needed attraction if we were going to make an ultimate Roblox park, just for that fact that it's so awesome and so innovative. It comes with the Disney IP, and it's such a long attraction that I felt that it is one of the best attractions on Roblox when it comes to length, innovation, and immersiveness. And finally, my fifth and final attraction will be Wall-E the Ride. So again, some people might say this is a wild card. It just came out, the redone version of it just came out at Disneyland Wales, and I just absolutely loved this attraction. I think it's easily one of the best attractions on the platform. It's definitely in my top 10, top 15 of all attractions. Might even be in the top 5, but I felt like this was a must need because it comes with that IP of Wall-E, but in real life, we really don't have a Wall-E ride. We really don't have a Wall-E attraction. So to be able to bring the innovativeness of having to create that in Roblox, it really creates this really cool effect to make Disneyland in Wales sort of stand out in the Disney Roblox community. And the theming is great. It does a great way of sort of telling its own story while also retreading the story of the movie. And the pacing is wonderful in this ride. So I felt like this had to be in there for my top 5 rides. And so that's my top 5 rides. We're going to pass it over to Cedar to hear what his top 5 rides are for the park. Oh, and one thing I forgot to
Awesome.
mention.
Thank you very much.
Me and Cedar both originally wanted Five Nights at Freddy's on our list, but I just told him so that we don't have overlap for him to pick another ride. So we both really, really love Five Nights at Freddy's After Hours. And now I'll pass it.
Yep, definitely. It was definitely a good ride. And yeah, it isn't in my top 5, but it would be my 6th one if we did have that. But anyway, okay. So the top 2 rides I have is the Gamma Meltdown coaster, which is made by Universal Roblox. And this ride is one of my favourite roller coasters. It's a really fast roller coaster. It has lots of different sort of effects on it, and it is quite a big roller coaster. And I think it makes it quite unique because it's a big sort of ride in which people can just enjoy it. And the next ride is Disco Stew's Coaster. This is a old roller coaster that was at Universal Roblox a couple of years back. And although this ride was quite outdated and quite old, it sort of always lived as one of my favourite rides because it was such a unique one. So the image shown on here, it has loads of different colours. It was quite a slow and small coaster. But I haven't really seen anything similar to that since it shut down. And if I was to have my own park, it would definitely sort of be based off a ride like that. So, moving on to my next 2 rides. The first ride is the Megalodon, which is at Universal Studios Roblox again. And this was a massive roller coaster. It was it's similar to the Incredible Hulk coaster, which they had before they updated it to Gamma Rage. And it was sort of original, unique, and it was quite good, is the best way to put it. I really enjoyed it, and I would certainly include it again if I could. The next ride I've added is the Jigsaw Challenge. This is at Movie Park, and this is only just opened. And it's such a unique style. It has all of the effects of the original one. It also has the old sort of effect of being a old and rusted roller coaster, but it's just made really well. It's quite a big one. It has perfect theming. And overall, it's a really well-made ride, and I'm certainly would love to have it in my own sort of theme park. And lastly, my fifth and final ride I would like to add is the Batman ride, which is at Movie Park. This closed down very recently, but it was quite a big yellow themed roller coaster. It was themed around Batman. You would travel in parts of Gotham City, and overall, it was a really well made ride. It had perfect effects. It was quite popular, and I would certainly love to have it in my imaginary theme park with TPR. But that's everything I had for my top five, so I'm going to hand back over to TPR.
All right, well, awesome. So that's our top 10 rides that we would have in our ultimate Roblox theme park. But what about the lands? So we really sort of wanted to leave this section up for discussion. But before we get to the lands, I just want to give you a full list so you have an idea of what the rides are. So clearly, my cup of tea is story-based, mainly dark ride style attractions. With I guess the only ones that really aren't is Jurassic Kingdom, which is a boat ride, part dark ride, I would say, and then Forbidden Adventure, which is really sort of a dark ride hybrid system they have going on there. So, but overall, sort of story-based dark rides, and obviously Cedar is more of a coaster guy, so he covers us with 5 coasters. So we have a really good balance here of different rides and attractions that you would be able to check out in this ultimate Roblox park. But again, what about the lands? So again, I want to leave this part up more for Q&A and discussion, but before we get to it, I sort of took the liberty myself to separate them and what lands they could be in. And so originally I had the idea that Stu's Disco Coaster, Batman, and Five Nights at Freddy's could all live in a land together, sort of as like a cityscape. But then I realized, okay, well, we really have 3 horror attractions here going on. So that was the first one that I think could flip-flop, and really the only one that could flip-flop lands really well. But overall, we have 5 lands. That's sort of the idea that I wanted to have, is 5 lands, plus maybe an entrance land. And that first land will be basically Jurassic Kingdom, as it is, adding back in the Megalodon. So we'll have 2 attractions in that land. And then our second attraction will be the Forbidden Adventure. And that will be in our second land, Hogsmeade. I think Hogsmeade needs to be a land that stays as its own thing. It's such an awesome land, and it's one of the best lands in Roblox currently. And then our third land will be that horror-based land with Five Nights at Freddy's, Haunted Mansion, and Jigsaw. So that can sort of have its own little sub-pocket lands within it in different little communities. Our fourth land will be a city-style land, which will feature Stu's Disco Coaster and Batman the Ride. Obviously, Batman fights crime in the city, and Stu, he has his own little club in Springfield, so we could sort of build that in to the city land. And then finally, we'll have our sort of futuristic land with Wally the Ride and Gamma Meltdown Coaster. Cedar, did you have any thoughts on these lands? Would you change anything or anything like that?
I wouldn't change any of the lands. I really like the layout. I would probably, I'm just trying to think if we were to do like a Halloween event as well. All of these rides would work really well, having a Halloween theme added on top.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, you could have like a Batman and zombie theme and have like zombies attacking Gotham, for example. It would definitely open it up to like more Halloween events, but the actual layout could be a really cool theme park.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you could even do something if you want with like Stu's Disco Coaster. I'm pretty sure I remember in a Simpsons episode where they like parodied Batman. I think you could do something really funny there.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, I think having a horror based land really helps during Halloween events as well, because you really don't have to do too much overlay theming to it. And then for an entry land, sort of like your Main Street USA or your like Production Boulevard type land. Do you think we'd do something sort of production-y, like movie-wise, or do you think we should do
I
it
think,
sort of?
yeah, sort of have like a movie studio and have sort of a big main street, which is a Hollywood style area.
Yeah, you could probably take insights from Hollywood studios and maybe a little bit from Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris. They have that
Yep.
thing going on. I think you could do something like that. And maybe even take some elements of Epic Universe, sort of splitting off into these little lands. I think would be very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But with that, I
Yeah.
think we should open it up to Q&A and discussion to hear what everybody else has to say about this. You know, what they would what they have to say about the lands and the rides, what they might change. So, ready to open it up to discussion.
There's one question coming in saying if you could add any show into your sort of theme park, what show would you have?
Ooh, any show. So one that I actually haven't seen yet, but I saw the poster for yesterday when I was going through Movie Park. Is The Exorcist a show at Movie Park, Cedar?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen photos of it. And I really want to go check it out. I'll probably check it out either later today or in a couple days. At the moment, I would say that one. And that would obviously go in the horror land, but that would give us a lot of attractions in the horror land. So it's hard to say. Like if I were to spread it out, like if we're talking strictly Roblox shows, it's hard to say because there's not like a whole lot of shows. But it also depends on if we're talking like nighttime show or if we're talking like show built into the park already. But nighttime show wise, I'd probably go with the Universal. What I forget what it was called. The like cinematic spectacular.
Cinematic universe, or yes, oh, not cinematic universe. Yeah, spectacular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'd probably go with that one and sort of theme it to the attractions that we have, just because like it's hard to make a show that sort of encapsulates everything. But then if we're talking
Yep.
like
Yeah.
into the park, like actual like built into the park show, I'd go Exorcist. But since there's not a lot of those, I'm gonna just take one from real life that I could think of. I'd probably have to go with something like an Indiana Jones Stuntacular if we're pulling from real life, because I think sort of showing how the movies is made is something really awesome, and I think that would give us an attraction for that opening land that we were discussing. So we could do something with that, but maybe it isn't Indiana Jones. Maybe it's one of the different IPs that we have in our park currently. Like maybe we do a Five Nights at Freddy's show where it shows how they made the movie. Something like that I think would be really cool, breaking down a scene as it's being made.
Yeah, definitely. One of the other questions that have come in is you could do sort of an idea. It said you could have like a Mickey house in a haunted house recreation to sort of
Oh
have
my
like a
god, yeah,
haunted Mickey Mouse
I
theme.
completely forgot about that ride. I love Mickey Mouse and Haunted House. If I remember correctly, that ride's still open, but they closed the trolley troubles, I think, something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do love that ride. That ride definitely lives within my top 15, 20 attractions on the entire Roblox platform. But I definitely like that idea because even really the whole, I forget what it's called, Cartoon Corner, I believe is what they call it in Disneyland Wales. That's one of my favorite lands overall because they find a way to take this low poly look and sort of still give it sort of this like high texture look as well. They're able to balance it really well in the park there, and it looks spectacular. So if I could, I really would build an entire land like that. Might be sort of like in an extension to the land, like in an add-on that we add later to the land. But yeah, so I'd have to go with probably adding that in later on as an expansion.
Yep. I will. One of the final questions we have is: will there be any parades in the park?
Ooh, parades. Parades would be really cool. I definitely agree. I think it'd be cool to just sort of do like a classic parade, sort of with all the different characters from all our different lands. But I think specifically, sort of what Cedar was talking about was doing a Halloween event. I think our park would very much benefit from a Halloween style parade since we already have so many horror themed attractions. So I'd probably do that as well, and maybe do some like cavalcades here and there within the lands. I think would be really cool. I definitely have a parade in my land. I appreciate everybody coming out to the panel. I thought this would be a really fun idea for us to throw together. And keep in mind, this video will be up on YouTube. later on. So if you guys come up with any cool ideas for what would be in your ultimate Roblox park after the fact, go at them in the comments of that video once it's up in the next day or two. But yeah, I want to thank Cedar for coming on here with me and having this really fun discussion. I want to thank all you guys for coming out. We hope that you guys have a great rest of your day here at the PEC24 Expo. And we hope that you check out all the amazing booths and check out all the panels we have tomorrow as well. And be sure to vote in the PEC Awards. If you go to our Discord server, our Twitter, you can find the form to do it. So thank you all for coming, and we hope you have a great rest of your day here at PEC24 Expo. Bye.